Hi, my name is Dale Turner, and I teach a variety of acoustic and electric rhythm guitar styles here at Hollywood's Musicians Institute. And this passage you just heard me plucking my way through, it's something inspired by a couple of Clapton acoustic tunes that I'm sure you're familiar with. One of them is Tears in Heaven from the Unplugged record, and another one is Change the World that appeared on the Phenomenon soundtrack. So what I've done here is kind of taken the nuts and bolts of what Clapton's doing in both songs and kind of mixed the chords together and came up with sort of a hybrid of the two. And we're going to kind of talk about what's going on behind the scenes with this style in general. The very first thing we're going to attack is the famous opening move to Tears in Heaven that Clapton does with an open A chord, but we're also going to apply it to an open E chord. And it'll be a fingerstyle move with a little suspension from a hammer-on, so we'll have some chord ornamentation, and then an E chord also with your small finger adding a little bit of an ornament. Okay, so A and E. Let's get into this at about half speed to make sure we're comfortable with this, and follow the plucking hand instructions that are written in the example. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we'll put it together at regular speed now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, the next couple of figures we're going to look at deal with the what's happening in the body, within the body of Tears in Heaven, as well as Change the World. In the verses, chorus, and even the bridge of Change the World, Clapton is primarily plucking with his plucking hand a passage that's very similar to the way a piano player would accompany a singer, where you have a quarter note in the upper register, and in our case it'll be these two fingers plucking the G and B strings, while there's bass notes in the pianist's left hand, that type of sound, which will be us plucking notes with the thumb for our bass notes. And they're going to happen from this A chord and this E with a G sharp in the bass. I'm going to play this real slow, and you'll notice again, like I said, the second and third strings will be quarter notes, and you'll have a specific rhythm in the bass you're going to want to lock into while these keep going in quarters. 1, 2, 3, 4. Regular speed. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Like I mentioned, we're also going to take a look at some of the types of voicings and accompaniment moves Clapton uses in Change the World. The next figure you'll see are some chord shapes similar to an open E chord, except you're going to mute the D string, and you'll hear this sound popping up a bit in the verses to that track. I'm going to move this up the neck to where it almost sounds like this figure I'm sure you're familiar with. Except we're going to harmonize it with sixths intervals like this. With the top two open strings. Basically this, 3, 4. If you've heard the song, you'd be pretty familiar with that passage. What he does also between the vocal phrases, which of course is him singing, is he puts in a nice accompanimental fill just with open strings, while his open sixth string is functioning as a bass note. Try to get this one going slow first. 1, 2, 3, 4. and irregular speed. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and a thing I'd like to actually mention at the moment, if you find fingerstyle playing is a bit tricky for you as opposed to pick style playing, a thing I always encourage my students to do is keep a note of when the bass notes, which are typically played with the thumb, happen at the exact same time as some of the upper register notes. So if any of these are giving you trouble coordinating, I'd maybe bring out a pen or a pencil and circle the spots where they're happening at the same time. What I'd like to do now is present a whole passage that kind of mixes the nuts and bolts of what we just plucked through. So it's again a hybrid of Tears in Heaven and Change the World. Let's see here. It's going to have an E chord and actually a G sharp chord, C sharp minor, E with a B in the bass, and a bunch of other shapes that you'll see written before you. I'm going to work this out real slow for you, and then we'll play it again at the regular speed. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, here's that same passage at the regular speed. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'm assuming that Eric Clapton is, of course, a familiar name to many of you. If you've never heard his Unplugged record, that's actually a big milestone in acoustic music and acoustic rock and popularizing the unplugged phenomenon, of course, that actually kicked off in the 90s and still holds up today. There's transcriptions of that whole album you could check out. Every song has a wealth of information similar to what we just plucked through. I certainly had fun breaking them apart for you. Next time you're down here in Los Angeles, please drop by and give us a visit. Say hello, let us know how you're doing, and hope you enjoyed this lesson. Thanks very much.